Hey Changemakers, it's Julia Cha. Welcome back to this channel. Today we're going to talk about embodying the privileged mindset. If you're a woman or woman of color, if you belong to any oppressed group, you do not understand the laws of power because the way you've been indoctrinated from the beginning as the norm is actually meant to keep you oppressed. We're going to look at various aspects of what it means to be privileged and how to start becoming privileged by embodying the mindset first and claiming what is rightfully yours, knowing your rights, and understanding how privileged people think, feel, and experience the world, the types of goals that they set. Today, however, we're going to hyper focus on one area, which is legacy. Your name, your reputation, and who you are known as, even after you're gone. If you've never thought about this aspect, that's because you have been indoctrinated to be underprivileged. First of all, the moment you're born into this world, as a woman, you do not question why you have your father's name. Now, I said as a woman, you do not question because although men get the same tradition and they carry the father's name, they know that as a male, they're going to be passing on that name. But as a woman, you just accept that you take on your father's name. And then when you get married, you change your last name. And then the heirs that you produce, they also carry the husband's last name. Now, even if the husband or your father is a complete write-off, they still get to continue down their legacy. That's apparently their birthright. And if you've never questioned why this is important, what about it? What's the big deal? It's just a name. That means you are oppressed and underprivileged. If you look at any privileged group, they care about how their name carries. People get their streets named after them. People have countries named after them. Look at the colonizer, like King Philip colonized the Philippines, still called the Philippines even after independence. That's legacy right there. Patriarchy takes the name of the father or the father figure, the male leader, and that name gets passed on. That in itself is a form of owning. Privileged people own. Followers, underprivileged people follow. They build what the privileged people own. That's the difference. Now, as a woman, you may think you're a feminist, you get married, and then you pass on your husband's last name to your children. Who does most of the work in raising children? It's irrelevant whether the husband contributes or whether he's been a good father. The fact is that the name that gets passed down is the husband's. Even in cases where he's no good and he's a complete write-off and he hasn't given the children anything but problems, generational trauma in a trash bag. Even then, the children end up carrying the father's last name. The mother disappears in history. You just go down to the grandchildren or the great-grandchildren, and now she is a mythical figure who is soon to be forgotten. Whereas that last name of who this person is, who this man was, that gets traced. And you're able to trace back, based on his last name, who he was. In this condition, women cannot help but to do all the work in the home, at the workplace, and give credit to somebody else. Somebody else would take the work and put their name on it. It's somebody else's work, even though you worked hard. Now, there are many types of manipulation and gaslighting that makes you believe that you did get what you deserve. That can be forms of compliment, some little gifts that you get, some kind of approval from your family, your community, from the workplace, kudos. None of those things mean anything unless your name is slapped onto the project and everyone acknowledges that this is your work. I'm not here to tell you to go and put your name on anything. I'm telling you that when you put your passion, your hard work, your energy, and you're creating your life's work, it doesn't matter if it's your children or if it's work, like a body of work that you're creating, whether you're building a career and different projects that you're doing in your line of work, you are putting yourself in those spaces, giving your all. And then if you walk away with nothing to show for, That problem is on you. Nobody in capitalism is going to come and say, hey, you forgot to take credit for this. Hey, you're being too generous and gracious and giving credit to somebody else. Hey, you're taking the spotlight away from yourself and you shouldn't do that. Nobody's going to do that. Instead, if you have this kind of oppressed mindset, then people will come and claim. Now, when people keep re-offending and you keep allowing people to take advantage of your work, where you're happy to give because you are a good person, you find pleasure in helping others, and you don't need the credit, you don't need the luxury or the benefits that come from being recognized. That in itself right there means that the oppression has worked really, really well on brainwashing you and making you a resource to be colonized and exploited. The difference between privileged and underprivileged people is that privileged people already get this. They are taught from very early on, this is your legacy. You are building a legacy. Men are trained from the beginning to be providers. Why is that? Because in capitalism, in the power hierarchy that rules our humanity, CPR, capitalism, patriarchy, and racism, the first law of power is capitalism. If you do not excel in capitalism, you have no power. You're not able to leave anything behind because you're just going to be supporting somebody else. You need to become an expert in capitalism. And in capitalism, you drawing attention to your name, to your body of work, and making sure you get paid, you get rewarded, you get recognized for the kind of work that you have done. That gives you power. This empowerment is you allowing yourself to be owned, claimed, colonized, exploited, which is doing work for somebody else and somebody else coasting, somebody else having a chill time and taking credit for everything that you do. You are satisfied with the breadcrumbs that they give you, where you just get some recognition, you get some money. Salary is the biggest ripoff. You just get some money. You get a little bonus. You get a little something like this. Now, I'm not saying that everybody needs to become boss babes. That's not what I'm saying. Society wouldn't work if everybody was a boss babe. But what I'm saying is that when you do work, you need to be recognized. When you do great work, you need the level of reward to match. You also cannot be hidden in the closet doing all the work. And then you never end up having any time for yourself when you're doing that. Because when people don't know that you're the one who's created this work or these types of results, then you're always going to be in the same place. You're going to be like a factory, delivering and delivering and delivering. And nothing changes. You do not rise up in the ladder of capitalism with the body of work that you build, with the work that you do. This here is a difference between someone who is free and not free. Not free is you work really hard and nothing really changes. You raise those kids. You fund and build a company. You help somebody get there. And that person pretends like you are a disposable nothing. While it was happening, they made sure to tell you the things that you want to hear to keep you there. Once that's over, and that person has much more leverage, you are a disposable nothing. Because if they had to admit to giving you credit, then that means they have to compensate you. It is not other people's responsibility to look after you. You need to learn to advocate for yourself. And that is the fundamental difference between the privileged and the underprivileged. What did you think of this video? Do you care about your legacy? Have you thought about your legacy? Put some comments down below. Work with me to join the Unleashed Social Elegance Accelerator program, where we cover all of these aspects, centering yourself, becoming a excellent capitalist, and conquering the power dynamics. Then go down to the link and book a free call. See you there. Thanks for watching.